Alright, let's hit the pause button for a second. You're probably wondering how a guy like me, just your average neurodivergent teenager, ended up with superhero abilities in a virtual utopia like the Infiniverse. I mean, come on. There's no death or pain. Why even need a superhero, right? Well, that's the million credit question, isn't it? To be honest, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, just like I'm still trying to find my mom. She's been missing in action ever since she jacked into the Infiniverse a few weeks ago. Left me hanging, just like the last season of Despotics Wars. So, I've been crashing with my uncle Modeo, who's the closest thing to a parent I've got right now. It was him who found me after, everything went down. He's the one who discovered I had these strange abilities. He says it's because my brain is wired differently. Something about being neurodivergent in the real world transferring over to the Infiniverse in unexpected ways. But here's the kicker. That's supposed to be impossible. The system is designed to adjust people like me when they enter the Infiniverse, to make sure we don't start throwing laser beams from our eyes or lifting buildings with a single thought. Yeah, there were some incidents in the past. Let's just say it didn't end well, so they blocked those kinds of powers. Anyway, my mom was always strict about me entering the Infiniverse. She had this whole list of rules, like no eating snacks in bed and absolutely no jacking into the Infiniverse. Total buzzkill, right? Uncle Medeo, on the other hand, thought she was being way too cautious. He was all about exploring and adventure. If he had his way, he'd probably set up a tent in the Infiniverse and live there. But out of respect for my mom's wishes, he never let me in. Until now, that is. And let me tell you how my first day in the Infiniverse went down. Spoiler alert, it was a total game changer. Sitting in my room, I tapped my fingers restlessly on the holographic screen of my neuro device, staring at the blinking icon that separated me from the rest of the world. Infiniverse access, restricted. It wasn't fair. Everyone else in my class could access the Infiniverse whenever they wanted, but with my neurodivergent mind, I was only allowed in at designated times.
Hey Klic, ready for the big game?
Sam's voice crackled through my earpiece, pulling me out of my thoughts.
Yeah, just thinking.
I replied, glancing around my cluttered room. Posters of far-off galaxies and alien landscapes covered my walls, showing my obsession with the Infiniverse. Among them was a single-framed quote, "Where neurodivergence meets heroism." It was the tagline of my favorite show in the Infiniverse, a show I dreamed of being part of one day.
You still thinking about the access thing? Dude, don't sweat it. We'll find a way.
Sam assured me. I smirked.
Already working on it.
My fingers moved swiftly, typing codes into the neuro device.
If I can't get into the Infiniverse, maybe I can make a little mischief here. So there I was, hanging out with Sam, the guy who finds everything I say hilarious, even when it's not. We had just finished one of our so-called study sessions, which were really just excuses to hang out and goof off. We were in the parking lot, about to head out, when these guys in dark, sleek outfits like they had just walked off the set of some low-budget sci-fi movie approached us. There were 3 of them, and they had that look sharp, hungry like wolves on the prowl. Despotic supporters. You know the type, all about that control and chaos. The leader, this tall dude with a face like a granite slab, zeroed in on Sam.
You've got potential.
Granite Face said to Sam, completely ignoring me.
We're recruiting. You'd fit right in with us. The Despotics could use someone like you.
Sam glanced at me, then back at them.
Sure, tell me more.
He said, trying to play it cool. I could see his discomfort. He was sweating like he was in a sauna.
Wow, Sam, I didn't know you had aspirations to join the Galactic Loser Club. Do they hand out free t-shirts or do you have to sell your soul for one of those?
I chimed in, grinning. Granite Face didn't even look my way. Rude, but that didn't stop me. Sam gave me a look that screamed, "Please, Klic, shut up." But come on, where's the fun in that? Granite Face ignored me again, still talking to Sam.
We're the future, kid. The Infiniverse is just the beginning. You join us, you're set for life.
I leaned in, practically hanging off Sam's shoulder.
Does set for life come with dental insurance? Because I heard you Despotics have a real problem with cavities. All that bitterness can't be good for your teeth.
That did it. Granite Face turned, his eyes narrowing at me.
What's your problem, kid?
I grinned wider.
No problem, just making sure my buddy Sam doesn't get into anything messy. You know how it is? Despotics have a reputation for being, what's the word? Oh yeah, psychopaths.
Granite Face's eyes flashed with anger. He turned back to his goons and made a motion with his hand.
Forget this. Let's go. We'll catch up with the kid later.
As they stalked away, Sam sighed in relief.
Dude, seriously? Did you have to antagonize them?
I shrugged.
Hey, someone's gotta keep life interesting. Besides, those guys were all talk.
We got into Sam's car, an ancient rust bucket that rattled like a maraca when it started. We pulled out of the parking lot, and I thought we were in the clear. I was wrong. The sleek black car behind us, the one I hadn't noticed before, suddenly roared to life. Its engine sounded like a beast waking up. The headlights flashed, and it surged forward, swerving around other cars to get closer to us.
Sam? I think we've got company, I said, pointing to the rearview mirror.
Sam glanced back and his eyes widened.
Oh crap, they're really following us.
I grinned, adrenaline pumping through me. Floor it.
Sam slammed on the gas, and the old car groaned in protest but picked up speed. We weaved through traffic, the black car sticking to us like glue. The cityscape blurred around us, neon signs flashing past in a whirlwind of colors. We sped through intersections, the car behind us matching every move. My heart was pounding, every sense heightened. I could hear the roar of the engines, feel the vibration of the car under me, smell the burnt rubber as we took sharp turns.
Can't this thing go any faster?
It's a car, not a spaceship.
Sam yelled back, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. We shot down a side street, tires screeching. The black car followed, its headlights glaring like eyes. I leaned out the window, shouting back at our pursuers.
Hey, have you guys considered a career change? Maybe try stand-up comedy?
I ducked back in as they swerved closer. Too close. One of the goons in the car pulled out something that looked suspiciously like a futuristic crossbow.
Oh, come on. Crossbows? Really? What is this, a medieval fair?
The goon aimed, and there was a flash. Something whizzed past, grazing the side of the car. Sam swerved, narrowly avoiding a collision with a parked hoverbike.
Okay, this is getting serious.
Sam said, his voice shaking. We burst out of the alley onto a main road just in time to see a massive truck barreling toward us. Sam jerked the wheel, the car skidding out of control. I felt the impact before I heard it. The world spun, metal crunching, glass shattering. I felt like a rag doll, tossed around as the car flipped, once, twice, then landed with a jarring thud. Everything went dark. The first thing I noticed was the smell. A weird mix of antiseptic and something sweet, like a combination of bleach and bubble gum. My eyelids felt like they were glued shut, and when I finally managed to pry them open, I realized I wasn't in Kansas anymore. Or Earth, for that matter. The room was sleek and futuristic, with walls that looked like they were made of liquid metal, reflecting the soft blue glow of the overhead lights. Monitors with swirling patterns of data were floating in midair, and every few seconds they would flash with symbols I didn't recognize. It was like waking up in a sci-fi movie. A couple of medical drones buzzed around, checking my vitals with tiny flashing lights. But the real kicker? The doctors. The one standing nearest to me had emerald green skin, smooth and shiny, almost like he was carved out of a giant jade stone. His eyes were solid blue, without any whites, glowing softly like a pair of high-end LED lights. I noticed he had 6 fingers on each hand, and his ears looked like they belonged to a bat. His name tag read Dr. Xylos. Next to him stood another doctor, this one with scales that shimmered under the light, shifting colors from gold to deep red. He had a tail that flicked behind him, moving in time with the rapid clicking of his clawed fingers on a tablet. His eyes were narrow slits like a cat's, and his name tag said Dr. Slither. As if the whole waking up with alien doctors wasn't shocking enough, both of them turned to look at me with identical expressions of surprise. And let me tell you, seeing 2 aliens look surprised is a sight you don't forget. Dr. Xylos spoke first, his voice melodious and echoing slightly, as if he had a built-in reverb.
You're awake. This is unprecedented.
Yeah, I managed, my voice scratchy. Where am I, and what happened?
You're in the Infiniverse.
Dr. Slither answered, his voice low and hissing like a snake talking.
You were in an accident in the real world, but your consciousness was transferred here. Normally, this wouldn't be a problem, but your neural patterns,
He paused, glancing at the floating monitors.
they're unlike anything we've ever seen, highly volatile, even by neurodivergent standards.
Volatile? I repeated, raising an eyebrow. I mean, I've been called a lot of things, but never volatile. Are you saying I've got superpowers or something?
Dr. Xylos tapped on one of the monitors, bringing up a holographic image of my brain. It looked like a fireworks display, with lights sparking and swirling in different colors.
Your brain's synaptic activity is off the charts. It's as if the usual constraints the Infiniverse applies to neurodivergent minds aren't functioning on you. This makes you unique, dangerous even.
Well, I've always been one in a million. But what does that mean exactly? Am I going to explode or something?
I said with a smirk. Dr. Slither's tail flicked again, a sign of agitation.
It means your mind is processing information at a rate the Infiniverse isn't equipped to handle. You could potentially manipulate reality here in ways that defy our understanding. This level of synaptic activity could give you control over aspects of this reality, which is something we've only theorized about.
I blinked, trying to wrap my head around what he was saying. So, I've got some kind of super brain that can break the Infiniverse? Sweet.
Dr. Xylos shook his head.
It's not as simple as that. If your abilities aren't controlled, it could attract unwanted attention. There are those who would seek to exploit you, to use your powers for their own gain. The Despotics, for example, would be very interested in someone with your capabilities.
Yeah, I've already had a run-in with those guys. Not exactly the kind of fan club I was hoping for.
Before either doctor could respond, the door slid open and Uncle Medeo rushed in. His eyes were wide with worry, and when he saw me sitting up, he let out a sigh of relief.
Klic, thank the stars you're okay.
Define okay, I replied, trying to sit up straighter. Apparently I've got a brain that can break the Infiniverse, and a couple of alien doctors telling me I'm a walking time bomb.
Medeo turned to the doctors.
Is it true about his neural patterns?
Dr. Xylos nodded.
Yes, his brain activity is unlike anything we've encountered. He could be a powerful asset or a significant threat.
Uncle Medeo's face hardened and he glanced back at me.
Klic, you need to promise me something. No more going into the Infiniverse without me. It's too dangerous, especially with the Despotics on the prowl.
I rolled my eyes but nodded. Yeah, sure, I promise. I crossed my fingers behind my back. Because, come on, with abilities like these, how could I not dive back in? Uncle Medeo seemed to relax a little, though I could tell he didn't completely believe me.
All right. I'll take him home. Just keep this under wraps, okay? The last thing we need is for word to get out.
Dr. Slither's eyes narrowed.
We'll do what we can, but you should know, secrets have a way of getting out. And with power like his, it won't stay hidden for long.
As we left the hospital, I couldn't help but think about what Dr. Slither said. Secrets. Power. My mind buzzing with possibilities, I knew one thing for sure. My life was about to get a whole lot more interesting.